What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Rosie TV, and today we're going to be discussing the various cup finals we have this weekend. We have 4 different finals to talk about, and I'm going to go in depth about the FA Cup final especially, but also briefly talk about the other finals in the top 5 leagues. But we obviously won't be talking about the Coppa Italia final, which happened last week, where Juventus beat Lazio, which now means they have the double for this season, and they can even turn that into the treble when they go against Real Madrid in the Champions League final. But first, I want to talk about the FA Cup final between Arsenal and Chelsea this weekend. This is definitely the most exciting final out of the 4 because of the fact that Chelsea and Arsenal are actually 2 very good teams, and most of the other finals we have a very elite team going against a lower quality team, more of a mid-table team. And even in the past, in the FA Cup, over the past few years, we've seen some mid-table teams in the final, such as Crystal Palace, Hull. We had Wigan, who won it a few years ago, and they got relegated that same exact season. But in this final, we have the big boys, Chelsea and Arsenal. Chelsea, if they win this, they get the double as well, which is such a great accomplishment for a team that finished 10th last season. But the most interesting thing about this game is definitely going to be the selection that Antonio Conte and Arsene Wenger are going through right now, especially for Wenger in defense. Koscielny, his best defender, got sent off against Everton on the final day of the season, which means he will be suspended for this game, as well as Gabriel, who picked up an injury. If Arsenal go with that back 3 that they've been playing for the past month, I'm not sure who he's going to have in there. Look for Rob Holding to be in there. He's been fantastic these past few weeks. Another fantastic Arsene Wenger finding, and expect him to be in that back 3. He's going to be a mainstay, hopefully, for the next few seasons for Arsenal. But next to him, I expect someone like Mustafi to be put in there. And then finally, you could see someone like Mertesacker, but he's barely been featured this season. Back when it was a back 4, it was Mustafi, Koscielny, and then ever since the switch to the back 3, we've seen Gabriel, Koscielny, and Holding. But with those 2 misses in Gabriel and Koscielny, I expect them to have Mustafi, Holding, and probably put Nacho Monreal in that center back spot, which we've seen him do the past few weeks. I don't really expect Wenger to put Mertesacker in a cup final when he's been barely featured this season. So I expect Kieran Gibbs to go in that left wing back role and Nacho Monreal to slot into that center back role. Another alternative that could happen is Wenger switching back to a back 4, where you could just end up playing Mustafi and Holding together in that back 2. I don't really expect that to happen, but that is definitely a possibility with all these injuries and suspensions. Another big selection question I have is, who's Wenger going to play up top? Is it going to be Welbeck? Is it going to be Giroud? Whoever it is, we know they're going to get some great service with Mesut Ozil and Alexis Sanchez playing behind. I expect Giroud to get the nod. He's been great off the bench this season, and he scored some pretty big goals. So maybe Wenger is thinking that he should reward that, and Giroud will end up starting. And if that doesn't work, he can just bring on Welbeck, because Welbeck definitely offers something different with his pace, with his ability to run in behind, which Giroud can't really do that. As for Conte's selection, I wonder who he's going to play next to N'Golo Kante in this game. Is it going to be Fabregas? Is it going to be Matic? We've seen Fabregas put some extraordinary numbers up this season. He's put up 12 assists in only 13 starts in the league. But I still think Conte is going to play it safe in this game. He's going to go for a more defensive approach with Matic alongside N'Golo Kante. Kante is your box-to-box ball winner, but Matic, he can sit there. His passing is pretty good. It's definitely improved this season, but he is your real destroyer in that midfield. Because N'Golo Kante, he's more of a Arturo Vidal type player. He likes to move around a lot, not much of a sitting defensive midfielder. I expect him to come into this game with his same back 3 that's won him the league this season in Cahill, Azpilicueta, Luiz. And I think it'll be Hazard and Pedro occupying those wing roles. However, up top, will it be Diego Costa? Will it be Michy Batshuayi? Costa's been your main starter this season. He's put up 20 goals in the league without even scoring a single penalty. And it's important to note that Costa has scored goals when it mattered the most. While it might be tempting to put Batshuayi in this game because of his track record these past few weeks, scoring 4 goals in his last 3 games. Besides that West Brom game, the other games were kind of throwaway games. That game against Watford and that final game of the season against Sunderland, the title was already won, so there was not really much pressure. So if I was Conte, I would stick with Diego Costa in this game. You know those Arsenal defenders hate playing against Diego Costa. He gets under their skin, and he's definitely one of the most annoying strikers to play against. As for the actual game, I think it's a must-win for Arsenal because of the fact that this might be their only thing they can take away from this season. They didn't get in the top 4 for the first time in over 20 years. And while the FA Cup might not be the redeeming factor of the season, I still think it's an important trophy to win. And I think that Wenger is going to put everything out there to win this game. As for Conte, if they win this game, then it's a huge bonus, but if they don't, it's not that big of a deal. But I know some of the players really want to win it. Someone like Hazard has expressed how much he wants to win the FA Cup, as he's never won that trophy. I think it's going to be a very exciting game, and my prediction for the game is going to be 2-1 to Chelsea, but I think it's going to be a very nitty-gritty game. The game's going to be won or lost in the midfield for either team, and I even say that it's going to even go to overtime, possibly to penalties. Now I want to briefly talk about the other cup finals. I think these cup finals are very important because of the fact the elite teams involved, which are Barcelona, PSG, and Dortmund, they've had some pretty lackluster domestic campaigns, and this cup final for each team is going to be the only thing that they take out of this season. Dortmund go against Eintracht Frankfurt this Saturday, and Frankfurt are one of those mid-table teams. They finished 11th place in the Bundesliga this season. So I expect Dortmund to win this game, not with complete ease, because it's still a cup final at the end of the day, but I expect them to cruise a little bit during this game, maybe have a 2 or 3-0 win. In terms of form, Eintracht Frankfurt, they haven't even won a game in the month of May, but at the same time, you can make the argument that form goes out of the window when it comes to a cup final. I think this is a very important game for Thomas Tuchel, as he has had a very up and down season. He was expected to challenge for the title, but he ended up finishing 3rd and almost even finished 4th. But they did upset Bayern Munich in the last round, and I think this will be another year where Dortmund win the DFB Pokal. Moving on to the Copa Del Rey final, where Barcelona go against Alaves. Barcelona back in September actually lost to Alaves 2-1, but a few months ago, back in February, they beat them 6-0. So which Barcelona is going to end up showing up in this game? I think it's going to be the Barcelona. They're going to thrash Alaves. They always tend to show up in these cup finals. And let's not forget, Barcelona still have a fantastic team, and they narrowly missed out on the La Liga trophy on the last day of the season. So let's not pretend like their season was terrible, but I expect them to win this game. I'm going to go ahead and say they win this game 4-0. Finally, we're going to talk about the Coupe de France between Angers and PSG. Again, similar to Dortmund and similar to Barcelona, PSG had a down domestic season as they were dethroned by Monaco. In the first half of the season, they did drop a lot of points, but ever since the turn of the year, they've actually only lost 2 games in all competitions. One of them against Barcelona, that 6-1 loss, and another one against Nice just a few weeks ago, which put an end to their title hopes. But Angers are just probably happy to be in this position. They're 12th place in the league. I don't expect them to put much of a fight against this star-studded PSG team. But I will tell you this, if Unai Emery does end up losing this game, then expect him to be sacked probably that night or the next day. He might get sacked even if they win this game, but there will be no doubt at all if they end up losing against Angers. But I do like Emery, and I still think that he should be given another chance for next season. I do rate him very highly as a coach. I think he did some wonderful things with Sevilla. I'm going to say he ends up winning this game 3-1. So yeah, it's very boring. I went with all the favorites to win their games, but it could end up going very differently. Tell me what you think of each cup final in the comment section below, and give me your predictions for each game. Sorry about the lack of videos this past week, but I'm finally done with my first year of college, so expect 2 to 3 videos every single week. I'll definitely be putting up 2 more videos this week to make up for the lack of videos last week. If you have any ideas for any football video you want me to make, please also let me know in the comment section below. Please like, share, and subscribe for more football content, and thank you for watching Rosie TV.